Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Have you ever sat alone late at night staring at the ceiling wondering, why am I here? Have you ever felt like life is just happening to you, like you're just moving through the days without really knowing where you're going? If you have, let me tell you right now, you are not alone. Too many people go through life feeling lost, questioning their purpose, wondering if they even matter. And you know what the problem is? The world has convinced us that our worth is measured by how much money we make, how many followers we have, or how perfect our lives look on the outside. But deep down, you and I both know that ain't it. Because even the people who seem to have it all are still out here feeling empty. The truth is, you were put on this earth for a reason. You are not an accident. You are not here just to survive, pay bills, and fade away. There is something inside you, something unique, something powerful that the world needs. But if you don't understand the meaning of your existence, you'll spend your whole life chasing things that don't fulfill you, wondering why happiness always feels just out of reach. So today, I need you to stay with me because we're about to break this down. By the end of this, you're going to see your life in a way you never have before. You're going to understand why you've been through what you've been through. You're going to realize that the things holding you back are actually the things that will push you forward. And most importantly, you're going to walk away with a clear understanding of what your life is truly about. So if you've ever felt lost, if you've ever wondered why you're here, if you've ever questioned whether your life even matters, I need you to lean in because this right here, this might just be the moment that changes everything. The first step to understanding the meaning of your existence is realizing that you were created with intention. You are not here by accident. The fact that you exist means that you have a purpose even if you don't see it yet. Too often people go through life believing that they are just one of billions, that their life doesn't make a difference. But that's a lie. Every person on this earth has a unique role to play, something only they can bring to the world. Think about it. Out of all the millions of possibilities, you were born. That means something. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I don't feel like I have a purpose. Maybe life has been tough and you face setback after setback. Maybe you've been told you're not good enough, smart enough, or talented enough. Maybe you've made mistakes that made you feel like you're not worthy of something bigger. But let me tell you something. Your past does not determine your purpose. Your struggles, your failures, even your doubts, none of that changes the fact that you are here for a reason. In fact, those very challenges might be shaping you for something greater. Look around at the most successful, impactful people in the world. Many of them didn't start off with a clear path. They didn't wake up one day with all the answers. Most of them went through storms, struggles that tested them, losses that hurt them, obstacles that nearly broke them. But instead of giving up, they kept pushing forward, knowing that there had to be something more. And that's the mindset you need to adopt. Even if you don't know your purpose yet, trust that you were made for something meaningful. The problem is society has trained us to look for purpose in all the wrong places. We think our value comes from how much money we have, how popular we are, or what kind of job we do. But real purpose has nothing to do with any of that. It's not about status, it's about impact. It's about who you are, not what you have. You don't need millions of dollars to have a purpose. You don't need to be famous to make a difference. Some of the most impactful people in the world aren't the ones in the spotlight, they're the ones working behind the scenes, changing lives in ways no one sees. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for their purpose to find them. They sit around hoping that one day it will just appear like a sign from the sky. But that's not how it works. Purpose isn't something you find, it's something you build. It starts with what's inside you. What do you love? What are you passionate about? What problems do you feel called to solve? What do people always come to you for? These are the clues that point you toward your purpose. It's not some big mystery, it's already inside you. You just have to pay attention. But here's the hard part. Sometimes your purpose isn't comfortable. Sometimes it requires you to step outside of your comfort zone. It might mean taking risks, facing fears, or letting go of things that no longer serve you. And that's scary. But here's what you have to understand. If your purpose was easy, everybody would be walking in theirs. If it didn't require growth, it wouldn't be meaningful. That discomfort you feel when you're stepping into something new, that's proof that you're on the right path. So if you're sitting there thinking you don't have a purpose, I want you to hear me loud and clear. You do. You are not an accident. You are here for a reason. Maybe you don't see it yet, but that doesn't mean it's not there. Every day you wake up is another opportunity to move closer to it. The key is to stop looking for purpose in the wrong places and start looking inside yourself. Because the moment you realize that your existence isn't random, that's the moment you start living with intention. And that's when everything begins to change. One of the biggest roadblocks to understanding the meaning of your existence is the comparison trap. Too many people spend their lives measuring themselves against others, thinking that if they don't have what someone else has, they must not be as valuable or important. This mindset is dangerous because it makes you feel like you are always lacking something. Instead of seeing what's special about yourself, you're too busy focusing on what someone else has accomplished. And that's where people get lost. Think about this. If you plant an oak tree and a sunflower at the same time, the sunflower is going to grow tall in a few weeks, while the oak tree will take years before it even begins to show real progress. Now, does that mean the oak tree isn't growing? No, it's just on a different timeline. The sunflower isn't better than the oak tree, and the oak tree isn't better than the sunflower. They both serve a purpose, but their paths are completely different. The same goes for you. You might see other people achieving things before you, and it might feel like you're behind, but that's not true. You are on your own path, your own journey, and your own timing. The problem is we live in a world where everyone is constantly showing off their best moments. Social media has made it worse because now people can filter their lives to only show the highlights, the vacations, the new cars, the big promotions, the perfect relationships. But what they don't show are the struggles, the sleepless nights, the moments of doubt, and the failures that happened before that success. So when you compare your reality to someone else's highlight reel, you are setting yourself up for frustration. You start thinking, why don't I have that? Why isn't my life like theirs? But what you don't see is the work they had to put in or the struggles they faced along the way. This kind of thinking leads to self-doubt. You start believing that maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you're not smart enough. Maybe you're not talented enough. And before you know it, you're stuck. Too focused on what others are doing to even recognize your own potential. But here's the truth. You are not in competition with anyone. The only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. That's it. You have to learn to trust your own journey. Instead of worrying about what someone else is doing, focus on your own growth. Are you improving? Are you learning? Are you working towards something? That's what matters. And when you start to focus on your own path, something amazing happens. You start to appreciate what makes you unique. You start to recognize your own strengths and talents. You stop looking for validation from the outside and start finding confidence within yourself. But this isn't always easy. It takes discipline. It takes reminding yourself daily that your worth is not determined by someone else's success. It takes learning to celebrate other people's wins without feeling like it takes anything away from you. And most importantly, it takes gratitude. When you start focusing on what you do have instead of what you don't, everything changes. Gratitude shifts your mindset. It helps you see that you already have everything you need to succeed. You just need to stop looking at someone else's plate and start focusing on your own. So if you find yourself stuck in comparison, I want you to stop and ask yourself, am I doing better than I was yesterday? If the answer is yes, then you're on the right path. And if the answer is no, then that's where your energy needs to go, not on someone else's journey, but on improving your own. Because at the end of the day, the only person who can truly define your success is you. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to understand their existence is looking for validation from the outside world. We grow up thinking that our worth is tied to what people say about us, what society expects from us, or how much approval we can get from others. This mindset is dangerous because it puts our sense of purpose in the hands of people who may not even understand our journey. If you spend your life waiting for others to tell you that you're on the right path, you might be waiting forever. Think about it. How many times have you had a dream, a goal, or an idea, and the moment you shared it with someone, they shut it down? Maybe they told you it was unrealistic, that you weren't good enough, or that you should focus on something more practical. That kind of negativity can shake a person's confidence, especially if it comes from people you love and respect. But here's the truth. Just because someone else doesn't see your vision doesn't mean it's not meant for you. The world is full of people who will doubt you. Some will do it because they don't believe in themselves, so they project that fear onto you. Others will doubt you because they are afraid you might succeed and prove them wrong. Some will even doubt you out of love, thinking they are protecting you from failure. But at the end of the day, none of that matters. The only person who needs to believe in you is you. The problem is, we have been conditioned to seek approval. From a young age, we are taught to look for gold stars, grades, promotions, likes, and followers. But none of those things define your purpose. Purpose is something that comes from within. It's that feeling inside you that tells you that you are meant for something more, even if no one else sees it yet. When you stop seeking validation from others, something powerful happens. You start trusting yourself. You start making decisions based on what feels right for you, not what makes sense to everyone else. You start walking your path with confidence, even if you have to walk alone for a while. And most importantly, you stop allowing other people's opinions to control your actions. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't take advice or learn from others. Wisdom is valuable, and there are people who can help guide you. But there's a difference between learning from someone and living for their approval. If you let other people's opinions dictate your choices, you will never truly live. You will just be existing, trying to meet expectations that may not even align with who you are meant to be. So, how do you stop seeking validation? It starts with self-awareness. You have to get real with yourself about why you care so much about what others think. Is it fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of being different? Once you recognize where that need for approval comes from, you can start to break free from it. Next, you have to build self-confidence. Confidence doesn't come from what other people say about you. It comes from proving to yourself that you are capable. Set small goals and achieve them. Show up for yourself every day. Learn new skills, take risks, and push yourself out of your comfort zone. The more you do this, the less you will care about what anyone else thinks. And finally, you have to protect your energy. Stop sharing your dreams with people who don't believe in you. Stop letting negative voices influence your decisions. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you, and distance yourself from those who drain your spirit. At the end of the day, you don't need the world's approval to follow your purpose. You were put here for a reason, and no one else has to understand that except you. Stop waiting for permission to be great. Stop looking for validation that you are on the right path. If you feel it in your heart, if it burns inside you, that's all the proof you need. Trust yourself, move forward, and let your purpose speak for itself. There is a reason why you feel restless. There is a reason why no matter how much you try to fit in, something inside you tells you that you were made for more. That feeling isn't just in your head, it's a calling. It's a deep, undeniable pull towards something greater. But here's the problem. Most people ignore it. They get so caught up in the noise of everyday life, in responsibilities and what the world expects from them, that they silence that voice inside them. And when you do that for too long, you start feeling lost, empty, and frustrated. Your existence is not an accident. You weren't just placed here to go through the motions, wake up, go to work, pay bills, and repeat. That's not living. That's surviving. And too many people are just surviving, never realizing they have a deeper purpose. But let me tell you something. The fact that you are alive right now, listening to this message, means that there is still something for you to do. The challenge is we live in a world that constantly tries to distract us from finding our true purpose. Social media, television, peer pressure, expectations, all of these things pull us in different directions, making us forget to ask the most important question: why am I here? What am I supposed to do with this life? See, deep down, you already have the answer. It's not something you need to find outside of yourself. It's not something another person can give you. Your purpose is already within you. The problem is you've been taught to ignore it. You've been told to follow a path that is safe or practical, even if it doesn't make you happy. You've been told to blend in, not stand out. But nothing great ever came from blending in. Every person who has ever made a difference in this world had to break away from what was expected of them. So how do you start listening to that voice inside you? How do you uncover the real meaning of your existence? First, you have to get quiet. You have to shut out the distractions, the opinions, the expectations, and really sit with yourself. When was the last time you did that? When was the last time you sat in silence and just listened? Most people don't do this because they're afraid of what they might hear. They're afraid that their real purpose might require them to change, to take risks, to leave behind the familiar. And yes, it might. But staying in a life that doesn't fulfill you is far scarier than stepping into the unknown. Next, you have to pay attention to what excites you, what makes you come alive, what are the things you could do for hours without getting tired. Those things are not coincidences, they are clues. Your talents, your passions, your natural strengths. These are all signs pointing you toward your purpose. Don't ignore them. And then you have to have faith. See, understanding your existence isn't about having all the answers right now. It's about trusting that you are being guided towards something meaningful, even if you don't see the full picture yet. Too many people give up on their dreams because they can't see how everything will come together. But you don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You just have to believe that if you keep moving forward, doors will open, opportunities will come, and the right people will cross your path. But here's the catch. You have to take action. You can't just sit around waiting for some magical sign. You have to start doing the work. Explore, try new things, step outside your comfort zone. The more you do, the clearer your purpose will become. At the end of the day, your life is a gift. You have been given a certain amount of time on this earth, and what you do with it is up to you. Don't waste it living someone else's dream. Don't waste it trying to meet expectations that don't align with your soul. You were created for something bigger, and the sooner you start listening to that calling, the sooner you will step into the life you were meant to live. There comes a point in life when you have to stop looking outside for validation. You have to stop expecting others to tell you who you are, what you should be doing, and whether or not you are good enough. Too many people live their whole lives trying to meet expectations that were never even their own. They spend years, sometimes their entire existence, chasing approval, waiting for someone to tell them, yes, you're on the right path. But the truth is, you don't need anyone else's permission to live the life you were meant to live. Understanding the meaning of your existence means understanding that no one else can define it for you. Not your parents, not your friends, not society, not even the people who love you the most. Because here's the thing, most people don't even know their own purpose, so how can they tell you yours? They are just figuring it out themselves. And often, the advice they give you is based on their own fears, their own limitations, their own insecurities. If they were too afraid to chase their dreams, they would tell you to be realistic. If they never took a risk, they would tell you to play it safe. Not because they don't want you to succeed, but because they don't want you to fail the way they think they would have. But your purpose is yours. It is unique to you. No one else on this earth has the exact same gifts, the exact same vision, the exact same experiences as you do. That means no one else can walk your path for you. So, why would you let them control the direction of your life? You have to take back that power. You have to stop waiting for permission and start giving yourself permission. Permission to dream big. Permission to go after what truly fulfills you. Permission to walk away from things that don't align with who you are becoming. That's the hard part. Letting go of what no longer serves you. A lot of people hold on to things that no longer fit them. They hold on to careers they hate because they are afraid to start over. They stay in relationships that drain them because they don't want to be alone. They keep doing what is expected of them because they are scared of disappointing others. But let me ask you this. What about you? What about your happiness? What about your fulfillment? Are you really willing to sacrifice your entire life just to keep other people comfortable? That is not why you are here. You are here to grow, to evolve, to step fully into your calling. And that means you have to be willing to break free from the expectations that are holding you back. You have to be willing to disappoint some people. You have to be okay with not being understood all the time. Because at the end of the day, your life is not about making sense to everyone else. It's about making sense to you. And the moment you stop seeking outside validation, something incredible happens. You start to feel lighter. You start to feel freer. You start to listen to your own voice instead of the noise around you. And that's when you find clarity. That's when you start moving in the right direction. But it won't be easy. The world is loud. People will have opinions. They will tell you what you should do, what is practical, what is safe, and it will be tempting to listen. But if you do, you will wake up one day and realize you lived your entire life on someone else's terms, and that is one of the greatest regrets a person can have. So right now, make the decision to take ownership of your life. Make the decision to trust yourself. Make the decision to define your own path. Because the moment you do that, you step into a power that no one can take away from you. And once you step into that power, there is no limit to what you can do. There comes a moment when you realize that the meaning of your existence isn't something you have to go out and find. It's something you uncover from within. Too many people spend their lives searching for meaning in the wrong places. They think if they achieve success, if they make a lot of money, if they have the right relationships, they will suddenly feel fulfilled. But that's not how it works. Fulfillment doesn't come from what you have. It comes from knowing who you are and why you're here. The problem is most people never take the time to truly ask themselves the hard questions. They are too busy keeping up with life, following routines, doing what is expected of them, and trying to fit into a mold someone else created. They move through life on autopilot, never pausing long enough to listen to that quiet voice inside them. But that voice is always there. It's that feeling in your gut that tells you when something isn't right. It's that pull in your heart that nudges you towards something greater. And if you don't pay attention to it, you will spend your whole life feeling like something is missing, even if you can't put your finger on what it is. Understanding your existence means understanding that you were put on this earth for a reason. You are not here by accident. There's something only you can do, a way only you can impact the world, but it is up to you to discover what that is. No one is going to hand you a map and tell you, here's the purpose of your life. You have to be willing to do the work to figure it out. And that work starts with getting still. You cannot hear your purpose when your life is filled with distractions. You cannot understand who you truly are when you are constantly seeking approval from others. You have to take time to sit with yourself, to reflect, to ask yourself, what truly makes me happy? What do I feel called to do? What am I naturally drawn to? Because your purpose is often hiding in the things you love to do, the things that come naturally to you, the things that bring you joy. But most people overlook those things because they are too focused on what society tells them they should be doing. And that's where the real challenge comes in. Once you start to understand the meaning of your existence, once you start to uncover your true purpose, you will have to make choices that not everyone will understand. You will have to walk away from things that no longer align with you. You will have to let go of relationships, habits, and mindsets that are keeping you stuck. And that is not easy because change is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable, but you have to ask yourself, what's more uncomfortable, staying stuck in a life that doesn't fulfill me, or stepping into the unknown to become who I am meant to be? The truth is, you are going to face resistance. The moment you start living for yourself instead of for others, people will have opinions. They will tell you you're making a mistake, that you're being unrealistic, that you should play it safe. But you cannot let their fears become your fears. You cannot let their doubts become your doubts, because at the end of the day, this is your life. You are the one who has to live with the choices you make, and you do not want to wake up one day and realize you lived your whole life trying to please people who were never meant to walk your path. So the key is to stay focused on your journey. Keep listening to that inner voice. Keep moving forward even when the path isn't clear, because the more you trust yourself, the more doors will open for you. The more you align with your true purpose, the more the right opportunities, the right people, and the right circumstances will come into your life. But none of that happens if you keep ignoring your calling. None of that happens if you keep waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment doesn't exist. You have to decide that right now is the time to start living with purpose. Right now is the time to stop existing and start truly living. Because once you do that, once you step into the life you were meant to live, everything changes. You start to feel more alive, more fulfilled, more at peace. And that is the true meaning of your existence.